Yeah, he tried. He called me yesterday, but I was just at a lunch, and I shouldn't have went because I can't eat out a lot. I get my blood pressure just is, I'm overweight and everything.
Yeah, you better watch that the way
I
you eat.
know. I know. But I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, we going on now.
Okay.
I know ain't nobody expecting me on no Sunday, but
Oh,
they'll
you don't usually come on Sundays?
they'll be here though.
Okay.
As soon as they get their notifications.
Right, right. Well, I won't start right away. Maybe you can tell me about a little about what you're doing down
What,
in Houston. I say down there.
nothing, just chilling. My sister making life a little easier for me temporarily.
Hmm. How long she been there?
I want to say like 7 years, five for sure, but I want to say like seven.
Okay, she lived in LA too.
Yeah, she from Atlanta.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Mm.
I gotta turn off this TV because it'll distract me.
Mm.
Oh Lord. I don't know. I hadn't shown this picture. I just got it last year from his mother. I didn't even know she had it. Right? I didn't even know anybody had took a picture of him in his coffin, and this is the only picture that you know she had because somebody else took it. And uh, just like the other picture with him with the black leather jacket on, excuse me, one of the brims had it,
Mm.
and he just uh, put it on Facebook. I guess maybe last year sometime. No, year before last, because I was in Corpus then, and I said, "Well, where did this picture come from?" I had never seen it, but it was the last picture he had
Mm.
taken, you know. And his mother was really glad to see that picture because she really hadn't taken a lot of pictures of him. I got a couple of pictures when he was young, and of course on his obituary, I think he was like maybe 13 then. So she didn't really have no. I don't know why she didn't put the picture of him and his son, because um,
Girl, you gonna talk me to death. Let me interrupt you and tell you that we on and we ready for your top 10. And if you want to talk about that, we'll talk about it after you do your top 10. What
okay,
up, everybody? We got Lady Country here for our top 10, and I'm using my new webcam. I don't know how it really looked, but it works on Google Hangout, and I could roam around the room if I want to and shit, and move it back far or move it close. But let's go, Lady Country. Let's hear your top 10.
okay, I did a 5 and 5 too. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Um, I started with the Crips first, and Big U. And well, let me just say, for all of them, I thought they were. I like what they were doing today, and the information they had, and I think that they could be real instrumental in educating young people and trying to make some adjustments in their life. So they won't have to end up spending time in prison or being buried or anything like that. So anyway, Big U was my first one, and they're not really all in order. Big Nugget, Cute, Hawk, and of course, Michael Darrow. I don't. He would have been my number one because I just like the way you got that interview, right? I know that had to be hard, but you got it. And
Okay,
Cat
look.
Caesar.
Okay, let me stop you. Michael DeRose from Bounty Hunter. Um,
Easy.
yeah, but look, give us a little reason why you picked those other three.
Big U, Big Nugget, and Cute.
Yes.
They, you know, they told the history in the way they saw it. They, named some names and they gave some informational background and stuff as far as places and stuff. I know a lot of us could be off on our time and stuff like that, but they were pretty close. Because I don't really know of anything that in other gangs and all that stuff. I don't know what went down in other gangs. So I wasn't like, there, but so I'm listening to them share their side of it. And I just like the way they shared it. They didn't have to think about it, and all that old stuff. If they did, they try to, if they did have to hesitate, they still came back around close enough and stuff. And so I like the way they presented it mostly. Okay. And, so I think you can't give away nothing you have, right? You're trying to stop something or slow something down. You're going to have to be real serious about what you're doing. And you got to know what you're talking about, right? So I think they would be real instrumental in that. Especially Big U, he's talked about starting a school and all that on Crenshaw. And I guess it's off of Slauson, right?
Yeah,
Mentorship and all.
60th Street.
Okay. On 60th?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, I really like that. He's not talking about it. He doing it. Talk, we can talk, but you gotta put one feet in front of the other. People watch how you walk, you know. Everybody got a good game.
Yeah.
And okay, so you say Michael Darrell was from what?
Bounty
Bounty
Hunter.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Well, he gotta go on my list, so he going to the other side then. So okay, I got Cat Caesar. And well, that's it. Oh, I guess I could put the trip, the vacation in there, even though two people weren't Crips. Okay, and I got a tape, not a tape, a text, right?
Uh-huh.
That if I put AC Bobby Louie first, somebody was gonna do it. somebody was Somebody was going. I know he's laughing. I know he rolling over there in LA and Watts. He said if I did that, he was gonna do a drive-by on me, throwing rotten tomatoes at me. So he came in at number one because I was way over here in Texas, shaking in my boots, in my red boots, and that was Jimmy Lavender. That was him. I liked his calmness. Um, Even though I think Mr. Lavender might have some control issues there. But I like the way he shared how he started the bishop and what they were trying to do back then was to protect their neighborhood and all that. And you know, that mostly his stuff started from within his little circle, his family and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And what he's doing today. He got that troop TROUP program, and he's walking the walk too.
Mhm.
About change and stuff. So I really like that. And so the second one was OG Frog. He was wild. he was, but he was dropping some nuggets. Old nuggets, history and stuff. And I like that. How he did it. And he knew what he was talking about and stuff. So I like that. And I don't really know what he's doing today. I didn't really get to hear all that because he's been on so many times. I haven't been able to watch all his videos yet. And of course, like I said, on my interview, um, Brims, they stand up on their own. Because Elgin wasn't there every day. Elgin had to work, go to school, whatever he was doing. So I put that in there too. So I put Elgin's interview in there. I learned some stuff from Elgin that I didn't even know about. He he mentioned the putty in his head and all that. I didn't know anything about all that. But I was just 15, but I got some information too from him. And then AC Bob Louie, and it was a toss up between is Vincent. I think he looked like he's an older man, but I think he said he was 60. And Jackamore. I like Jackamore because he was spitting out some information. and looked like he could have took some of his boys in another direction. I don't know if he has that mind frame now or he had it back then, because we're not ignorant. I mean, we're not stupid or anything like that. We are intelligent people, but when we start letting go of certain things, look like our intelligence seemed to come to surface. And I love what he shared. I really did. I said, wow, if he could apply that back then, if we all could have applied what we know today back then, man, yeah, they would have a right to try to drop guns and drugs all in our cities and all that stuff, in our hood and all that stuff, because we would be formidable, but
Mhm.
not against each other. So that was mine. Now, don't forget Michael Darrell, not Michael Darrell. So I just said I'll probably try and read up some more on, that was hard, on, some of your videos and stuff like that. And, try. I only retain stuff a little at a time now because of the
All right, well, that's all good. Little Caesar's in the house.
been all day.
Little Caesar, Little Caesar said, "Good evening, Queen Lady Country," and I know you wanted people to ask you some questions, so you guys in the comment section, if you have some questions for Lady Country, go ahead and shoot them at her.
So can I start like posting it, showing you the pictures?
You can show them while we wait for some questions.
Okay, they may not have any.
I'm sure
Um,
they love you.
yeah, right. I love them too, though. That's Lil Country. He got his brim on. Now that was the last known picture he had taken. That his mother had. Now why she didn't have that on the obituary, I don't know, because that would have been much better. But she the one did all that. And this was me on an angry day. This is for my Brim book. I made several of them. I gave Elgin one, um, uh, but I haven't put mines together yet. And of course, Eddie Watts. This is Eddie, leader of the Brims. There go your boy.
Elgin.
There go your boy. And this is, let's see, who is that? That's our son in Lil Country. That's the last picture they taken. And he used to go to Sears and he got him that little hat and he had got him them little overalls and stuff. He used to dress him in Levi jeans and go to the cleaners on Vermont and Slauson. It was a couple of doors down, I think, from the temple. I think I can't really remember. And I'm gonna just show you maybe two more, and then I'm gonna show you. This is a picture. I don't want to show you the wrong picture. Oh, I think that's Michael Harris right there. If you can see it, he was a triple, one of the first, brims, Apple Hat game.
Okay.
And the middle picture, I really can't see what I'm doing. I guess that's it. Yeah, that's me sitting on the ground with a couple of kids.
Hmm.
That was on a good day for me. Now this is not really a clear picture or a good picture, but you can kind of see it. I didn't want to go through all my pictures and take them out, but I said, a lot of people asked me about it. That's him. He got the little wig on, all that, and but he. I think if they'd have turned over his coffin and they were putting people in danger like that, that they would have had to. They should have moved the body to another funeral home. You know, like when Lil Country wasn't the first Brim to die. I don't know why Black Jesus has never been mentioned anymore, um, but he wasn't. I haven't heard nobody mention his name in a long time until you said something today. And then Nutty had mentioned it to me too. And I shared with him, some things about that, but it wasn't a lot. But he was around. But he was supposed to be the first one to die, and I don't know what went down actually.
All right,
But
the first question, somebody, babyface Lokes, to want to know if you date younger men.
no, hell no. Y'all not killing me. Hell no.
All right, look, let me
I'm
ask, let me
sorry.
let me ask you. When Lil Country was still living, was he wearing red yet? Was red a color yet, or was the word blood? Did he die saying blood yet?
No, no, no. No to either one. We wasn't wearing red. They were still wearing blue jeans, one cuff up, one cuff down, right? And I have a picture of me and him at the last Christmas, right? Of 71. And I can't really clearly see the picture, but on the left hand side, I know he had a bandana hanging out of his back pocket. And I want to say it was blue. I want to say that. But I don't know. But no, and they weren't calling, we weren't saying Bloods then. That came later. That came like 73, 74. Yeah, I still remember when Big Country came up to Manual Arts and Elgin then was up there. I mean, that's where we would hang out at because a lot of us started going there, right? And he said Big Country was living in the jungle. And he started meeting all them guys out there. And he said they wanted to talk. And some guy named Smokey, he's the only name I remember from back then. I don't know why, but he had us come up to this theater. I guess it was the Baldwin Theater. But I popped a few little pills. I really wasn't interested in all that because they was talking about changing the name to no, Black Pea Stones, and then they was talking about bloodstones, and uh, I don't know, maybe another one. So I think they kind of agreed on like bloodstones. The bloodstones that started coming out around then. They was doing them hits,
Hmm.
and that sounded pretty good. And they just dropped it to Bloods. That's what I remember. And that was around 73, 74. I was still living there in LA. I left in 75 to go to San Diego because Big Country and them had moved from the jungles. That's where they left from. And then they went to,
So did you meet T. Rogers?
I don't know.
You
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if you met him?
No, I don't know.
Do
But
you remember
I,
when the Hoovers came out in your neighborhood?
no, my brother was a Hoover. I never knew. I was shocked. I was really shocked when I found out. But no, I walked around there. I lived over there. I never knew. Not until I left, maybe some years ago. I've been here a while, and you know, a lot of things they wouldn't tell me. I had a cousin from the east side, lived off of 88th and Zamora, somewhere over there, and he was the east side Crip, and the west side Crip killed him. He was 17. His name was he's a twin. I ain't gonna say his name because I still got family that's out there doing that. But anyway,
How old is your brother?
my who?
Your brother, was he older than you or younger than you?
No, no, he's my only brother. He about 50.
Oh, he's a lot younger than you then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you remember Sherm Alley in the jungle?
Yes. But I didn't. Don't ask me about anybody out there. I don't know not a soul out there. It was too much. That it reminded me of Watts. Never seen so many Negroes in one place. Doing nothing, just hanging around, flapping birds flying everywhere and all that. So I tipped through there during the daytime so I could see, because there was just too many people out there. But they never bothered me and I didn't bother them. And I would go swimming out there. I threw my little son in the pool out there. He learned to swim right out there. That's where he learned to swim at. But I don't know no anybody out there at all.
Hmm.
So, but I just wanted to show you. There's another nice picture of Eddie Watts.
Okay. Eddie was a
Yeah,
player, huh?
yeah. I don't know. I don't know what Eddie was.
He looked like a cold player to me.
Well, yeah, his name reigned a lot of places. I've seen him. I've seen him a lot here and there, and just never talked to him until that one time. He called me before he died, and I don't even know what made him do that. You know,
Are
but
you are you familiar with Rolling Sixties territory?
no, I
Oh,
used to be over there all the time. I had a sister live off of 42nd or 46 in Avalon.
no, you talking about
Mm,
the East Side. I was going to ask you, did you remember any brims over in like in the avenues in Slauson, off of Slauson and the avenues on the south side of Slauson? Michael Jordan, did you know him?
no, his name sound familiar, but no. I just knew Swig them around there and Joyce. I'm not for sure where Billy Priest lived, and I'm not really for sure if Billy Priest was he was first Brim and then he turned UT or what. I've never been for sure about that.
Untouchable
And
brims?
yeah, yeah, I think Billy had became one. I don't know, maybe not. I know there was Sugar Bear in there, but maybe it was just later or something like that. Because Sugar Bear used to live across the street from me, off of 59. And he stayed down on a couple of house apartments down from the house Lil Country and them lived on 58th and Menlo. So, he kind of moved around a little bit. But I know, Jake, Shake 'em Jake, them, Miguel. I don't know where none of them is at. Connie, Butchie. Was that Butchie the one got killed?
Yeah.
Yeah. He would be around us. I didn't really talk to a lot of Swig's friends and all. I'd be, they didn't say anything to me, so I really didn't say anything from. I remember Harshly because of the name, and he would be around. But they didn't never interact with me, or anything like that, and I didn't interact with them. I'm like this, unless the less you have to even worry about. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be all in court testifying and stuff like that. So that's basically how I was.
Do,
But
do, do you remember the
oh,
Do you remember the Brims having any enemies other than Crips?
now the Harvard Park boys, and I thought they were like gladiators or Slausons around there, right? And we used to get into it with them in the beginning, and then it just kind of stopped. They didn't really want to share the park with us. Um, oh yes, I do. Them lowriders. Them lowriders. They used to get into it with them all the time up there at John Muir in the beginning. But I don't know what that was about because they wasn't really no gang. They were doing their cars and stuff like that. So, but I just wanted to share some pictures with y'all. I mean, I got my Brown book. Oh, I got that special one. It tripped me out when I heard that Dodie. I gotta cover this one up. But anyway, here go a picture of Dodie. You see Dodie slap Raymond Washington?
Yeah.
So
Is
I've
that a
never heard of
is that a golf
what?
hat next to him? Is he wearing a golf hat?
I don't know what Dodie was wearing because Dodie used to style some hats.
No,
He
next
don't
the guy
next
next to
to
him.
that's baby country.
Yeah, he got a golf hat on. Okay.
Yeah, that's baby country. He really hadn't this is him now. Well, not now, but he's a little bigger and older now.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't show you a picture of the Big Country. They couldn't even give him a decent funeral. You see, can you see him, Karen Matt?
I can see it a little bit.
Okay, right there.
Oh yeah, I see him good. Hold it
Yeah.
there. Okay, I see it.
Okay. Yeah. And Pumpkin, crazy Pumpkin. They call Pumpkin caveman. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. They called him caveman. And but I guess that's all I safely can show you guys. I got a picture of the bear, but I don't have, I just wanted to share that with y'all. I think about, so we didn't just kill, I mean, they didn't just kill Lil Country that year. We've been killing a lot of us, you know. A lot of people died, just over the years and stuff like that. And it just ain't about him anymore. It's about everybody that has died for this certain cause and all that. And it's crazy, My son grew up, not having no father. Every year, uh, I didn't know what to tell him. I didn't know anything. He ain't here. He dead. But I didn't ever find no man to replace him until I met my husband. He took him up under his wing because he thought I was kind of cruel. I was harsh and stuff. I'm glad he did, but he started following in those footsteps. He ended up in federal prison for he got 17 years, but he got out in 15. He went to Leavenworth and um, he was up there with John Gotti in Philadelphia. I mean, I was scared for my son. I don't care if he did do what he did. I didn't want him in there for one day. And I'm quite sure a lot of people our age now don't want that for their kids. Don't want to have to bury them and all that. And these young folks think it's cute with their little sons and their little daughters and stuff. They better grab them while they can. You know, or else they're gonna be doing the same thing. So, but that's all I wanted to share. With some few pictures with my top 10, and I appreciate you. I really do. And when I come to Houston, you got to send me your number again. I don't know what I did with it.
Okay, I'll do that. That ain't no problem. Couple questions before you get out of here. Lady Lil Country, do you remember when the Fruittown Brands came out?
No, I was hanging with them and didn't know it because I was hanging in Manual Arts for a little while. They were chasing us off the steps where we would meet, and I met Monk in Hollywood and Davey and them. Sometimes we could go over there to DJ's house. They called David Johnson. And but after he got killed, I was just hanging with Monk and Hollywood. There was a few more, but those are the only three that stuck out in my mind. I may know some more if I saw them, but I don't know. I'm even lucky to even know them.
Did you
Yeah.
know General Robert Lee?
No. Me and him had this conversation before, but no. Maybe if I saw him, I probably would know him, but no.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was cool of you come give your top 10, a little bit of history, and share your pictures with us. Got a lot of people saying salute and awesome job. We love you. So
Yeah.
cool. I'll be glad when you come to Houston, so we can get you on the real camera. And I want to do something on Lil Country, a short little video on Lil Country. Um, so
Okay. Hey, I had an idea. We was talking about that viewing when you go back to LA. Whenever you do, why don't you go up there to South Los Angeles mortuary and see if you can find somebody older there that can tell what happened. During the times of, because remember back then you used to can view a body what 3 days to a week. You probably don't know, you youngster, but now is one day. Now is one day, but back then you could do it for 5 days, 3 days, or whatever. maybe you can go up there and ask them about that, because that, I had to think about that. Seemed like she would have said something if all that, was going on. I mean, I can understand the putty, but you talking about shooting the body up and stabbing it, and it had to be funky and all that. He would have had to have another coffin and stuff. Who was gonna pay for all that? I know she got paid for his death, but golly, I know she wasn't gonna buy another coffin. You know what I'm saying? If they tore it up and all that and pushed it over. But I know them stories been going on for a long, long time, and I used to, would argue with people about that and stuff. And finally, one day I just said, this man is gone. He's dead. You know, and 17 years old. I know when he was out there shooting that gun that he didn't think he was gonna die. I know he didn't think that. That's exactly what happened. You know. So, that's just something for you to think about, Kev Mac, okay?
Yeah, you're trying to get me killed, but it's all good.
I'm gonna get you killed going up there to
South
you,
Los Angeles Mortuary on 94th and Hoover.
what? You don't go where you wanna go?
I go where I want to go, but I don't go anywhere without a purpose. So
That'll be well, that's all right, I'll go. I'm coming down there next year, so I'll go and I'll act and I'll let you know, okay?
no,
Don't nobody know me.
we'll roll down there together.
All right, all right. And thanks a lot, okay?
Yeah. All right, thank you. Have a good evening. I'm gonna send you my
All
number.
right. Okay, thanks. Good night, you guys. Peace out.
Okay. All right, that was Little Lady Country again. I'm just flexing my camera and shit. You know what I mean? Just flexing. Just trying to flex my camera. I like this motherfucker. It go up and down and all around and shit. You know what I mean? Motherfucker go down. Uh, I like this motherfucker, but so I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I don't know what happened. Crip say one thing, Brim say another thing. Um, so until we get somebody that was actually there that can give more information, um, you decide for yourself. I mean, that's why I bring you the content. I bring you guys the content so you guys can decide on your own. Use your common sense. When I can give facts, I'll present facts. And if I can get to the story, I'll get to the story. But y'all take it easy, man. Happy New Year. I got a couple little small videos coming out during the first week of New Year's. One is talking about the Menendez brothers. One's talking about O.J. Simpson. I'm gonna do one on the green light gangs in 1995 in the county jail, and I don't know what else, but definitely gonna bring you guys more content on the B channel. Get that other channel cracking. Get the subscribers up on that other channel, and if you haven't seen the Pretty Boy interview cut down, it's on the other channel with the black logo. Y'all take it easy. I'll see y'all Monday at the regularly scheduled time. Peace.